Welcome back to Garage Matters. Now today, we are finally going to upgrade this 2010 Nissan Frontier's audio system from this 15-year-old dinosaur. And this has no backup camera, no Bluetooth capability at all. So we're going to swap that out. Something a little more modern, such as this DEBUNKED Boss Audio Systems Elite. Now, this is the cheapest of the cheapest that I could find, and I'm okay with going with the really cheap stuff only because this is basically a work truck for me, and it's still a good truck, but it's a work truck and I don't need the really good stuff for this Frontier. That's why I went with the cheapest stuff. Main thing is Bluetooth capability and a backup camera, because this truck does not have a backup camera anywhere, and I really miss having a backup camera. And after driving these newer vehicles along with my Celica that has an aftermarket backup camera, it's kind of hard to like drive a vehicle without a backup camera. So that's one of the main reasons why I went ahead and got this aftermarket head unit. Now this head unit does come with everything you need to make it a really simple install. These wiring harnesses, they're already pre-wired, and the company that I bought this system from they're really good. They went ahead and pre-wired everything. So all this is just, you're just plugging this into the truck's existing wiring harness, and then you're going to plug the other side right into the back of this head unit right here, and then that's it. You don't have to do anything else. And then this external microphone, I'm not going to use this, so I'm just going to set this to the side. And then this center trim piece, we are going to use this as well, and it does come with this installation right here, so it's going to tell us exactly what we need to do to install this head unit. And just looking at these instructions, it seems pretty basic and pretty simple, considering that this truck doesn't have any of these extra features, such as controls on the steering wheel for like the radio, the volume. It's going to be a relatively straightforward installation. So let me set this camera down, grab the rest of my tools, and I'll show you guys how to knock this out. Now these are the tools that I'm going to use right away. Just this trim tool removal and Phillips head screwdriver. So let's bring these back up to the car. Now speaking of knocking ourselves out, let's go ahead and take out this tow hitch, because that is how you are really going to knock our shins out if we accidentally bump into it. So we'll take this tow hitch and just set it to the side right here. Grab the tools and just hop into this driver's seat right here. Now, I do have to tell you guys, if you are trying to do this by yourself or at home, full disclaimer, like, just because I'm doing this doesn't mean that nothing's gonna break. You might end up breaking stuff, such as this trim piece right here. So I broke this earlier, just messing around with it, and this vehicle is 15 years old, and all this plastic is really brittle. So when you go to start removing all of these trim pieces, just make sure you're extremely careful, and if it breaks, it's gonna break. Now, the good thing about this piece right here, I've already looked it up on the internet, and this piece right here, it's gonna run me about 130 bucks to get a used one. So I'm not too concerned about it, because I can still find the part online, and for 130 bucks, I think after I'm done with this installation, I think I could just drive like this for like couple of months until I get tired of it. Then I'll just order a new trim piece and have it reinstalled. But first things first is you just want to go ahead and lift this upper piece off. Now the instructions does say lift straight up from both sides, and it should pop right off. And it's really easy. You just pull it straight up and it's gonna pop right off. Now on the other side of it, it's just got these clips on the corner right here, on all four corners. And those clips basically just go into these slots right here. Now the next thing you want to do is down in here, there are these Phillips head screws right here. One right here and one right here. You want to make sure you remove these two screws first before you start doing anything right here. And the reason being is if you don't remove these two screws right here, you're not going to be able to separate this little bracket, which is holding this piece right here, onto this other piece right here. Once you get these two screws removed, this entire assembly right here, it should just come right on out. And there's nothing else holding it attached to the vehicle besides the wiring harnesses that are back behind here. So let's go ahead and remove those two Phillips head screws up here. Now the best thing about having this ratcheting screwdriver is I can pretty much work with one hand, just like that. All right, now let's get the other side. All right, that should be good. Take these two screws out. All right, one on the left. Okay, now with those two screws out, don't pry from up here. You pry from up here first, you're gonna break these two corners like I did earlier. What I suggest doing is start from the bottom down here. And the way you're gonna get down here is you're gonna use a trim tool removal and just go right here in the corner and then just pry up on it. And we are gonna see if we can do it with one hand. Okay, just like that. Okay, you hear that? And then we're just gonna go over here, kind of slowly work our way, ever so gently, just prying up on it, but not too hard. All right, so now it's starting to come out. All right, and now, since we removed these two screws up here, you can see how this bracket is already removed from the mating surface over there. Same thing on this side. And this whole thing is just gonna kind of just slide on out just like this. And we're gonna leave it just like this for now. And hopefully, when I bring this camera around, we can see what's going on down here. So, surprisingly, as far as wiring harnesses goes, there's not a lot of wiring harnesses down here. It looks like for the radio, there is one white clip, and then over there on the lower right corner, it looks like a gray wire. So we're gonna go ahead and just disconnect those two for now. And I think I might have to turn the camera off because I can't get the angle, but maybe I can do this. And I'm gonna do that for now. And if it comes out good in the post, I will leave it. If not, I'm gonna delete it. So let me see if I can stick my hand back in here. And so this clip, you're just gonna push this part of the clip in and then pull this entire harness out. Okay, just like that. And then over here, same thing with this one. Okay, so it looks like it's on this side right here, this part of the clip right here. We are gonna push that in and then pull this out. Okay, there it goes. Now the radial is disconnected. And with the radial disconnected, okay, so this top piece might just be junk. This piece just completely came off like this. So with an older vehicle, fair warning, you might end up breaking a lot of these trim pieces. But down in here, we have the radial separated. It was just these two wiring harnesses. And then down here, it looks like we are going to need to disconnect. Okay. All right. So all I did was just lift it up and over the control column selector, the drive selector. Now back here, this is for the HVAC and these lights over here. So we are just gonna unplug these right here. So for this one, there is a little clip right here. We're just gonna push it in, hold on to this assembly and pull it up, and it should come right off. Okay, just like that. Now after you've got this harness removed, to get this one off, this gray piece right here, you're just gonna flip it to the right, and you might have to use like a screwdriver or some kind of trim tool removal to get it started. But this little tab right here, you need to push it down and then move this gray piece all the way to the right, up and over here, and then it should free this. Okay, and then this should just come right off like that. It's kind of a weird design, but it's quite easy once you figure it out. And then for this last one, you're gonna have to use a small little flathead screwdriver or some kind of something to like push this little tab in. And then once you got it pushed in, you should be able to pull this right off like that. Now, this entire middle section is free now. So we're gonna bring this over to the bench and swap this entire middle piece out onto this outer trim piece. And I've already broken another piece of this outer trim piece, and it is right up here. So if you guys are doing this job, just expect that you're probably gonna break some of this outer trim pieces. Okay, now let's head back to the bench. All right, now with this over at the bench, let's flip this over, and that is what it looks like. And what we are trying to do is separate the middle section, put this piece on, but in order for this to fit, we're gonna have to trim this middle piece right here. That way we can slide this right onto here, and then basically just transfer this piece onto here. Now let's go ahead and flip this over, see what we need to do in order to separate this middle piece from this outer housing. So it looks like down in here we've got several Torx screws down here, and I think these are T10s. So you'll also need a T10 Torx driver to remove all of these. And let's come over here, and it looks like it's going to be a direct swap. So we need to swap this thing, and this thing from the old one onto the new one. Well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, we only need, okay, no, we only need to remove this one and then this middle piece right here. So let me go find my Torx driver, and then I'll come back over here and start showing you guys what needs to come off. Now with my Torx driver, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just take this white piece off right here, which is the HVAC controls. Now in here it looks like it is, I'm gonna try these 4 copper looking screws right here first and see if that frees this off this mounting plate. If it doesn't, it looks like there are other screws inside of here that we'll have to remove as well too, but I don't want to mess with those just yet because I don't know if those are actually holding this onto this middle trim piece like these right here. So let's go ahead and take these off right here. I'll say that we just need to remove these 4 copper ones. Go ahead and get the rest of the screws off. And alright, and then this lifts right up and off. And let's come over here. Now it looks like these 4 screws right here are just gonna hold it back in place on here, just like this. And let's see if it's gonna be a perfect fit. Okay, so that is what it's gonna look like once we get it bolted back in. It looks like it's gonna be a perfect fit. Alright, now before we bolt it back on, I think what we need to do is cut out this middle section right here. That way the new head unit can fit inside of this opening right here. So let's just set this to a side right here and cut this middle bracket out. What we're going to use to cut this middle section out, these are just regular gardening shears for trimming tree limbs and stuff like that. So I don't have all these fancy tools. It's just regular household tools. And what I'm going to do is just use this to cut this off right here. So okay, and it seemed like it worked pretty well. We're just going to do the same thing on the other side now. And it is pretty easy, one-handed, and I was able to cut it right off just like that. Now let's go ahead and just see if we can fit this in here, kind of like test fit, and see if it goes in perfectly now. Okay, so alright, so I am not complaining at all. It fits in there good enough, I guess. Good enough for me. Let's see if these other trim pieces might help close the gap on this side right here. So I'm gonna pull this out, put this trim piece back on, and then put the head unit through. Okay, that is not going to work. I thought it was going to work, but it is not going to work. No. So here's what's going on, guys. It just doesn't fit. And it looks like we're just going to have that little gap on the side, but that is perfectly fine. At least it fits in here. Okay. And it is just gonna fit just like that. Now let's go ahead and flip this over and put the HVAC control back onto here just like this, and then screw these screws back on. So these little copper screws again, they're just gonna go down on these 4 corners again. One right here and then 2 up here. Okay, now that seems like it's in place, and okay, and that is what it's gonna look like. Okay, all the buttons seem to work. They're not. Okay, perfect, perfect. Seems like it's perfect fit, man. Now let's go ahead and take the rest of this stuff off right here. It looks like we need to take out the rest of these torque screws right here, all the way from around here, and then remove this entire piece off, and then we're just going to transfer this piece onto here. So let's go ahead and get these screws removed. Now what I didn't realize is that this T10 driver does not fit these screws down here. These are actually T15. So I came back over here, grabbed my T15 driver for these screws over here. So these are T15s on this black panel. And it looks like this is free enough to where this middle piece is just going to come right on out. So maybe it's just these 6 screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see what's going on. So it looks like it's going to come right on out. Okay. Is that going to do it? No. No? Oh, yes. Yes. So just the 6 bottom screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this middle piece just comes right on out just like that. Now, what I think we will need to do is go ahead and transfer these brackets right here from the old head unit onto the new head unit, and we're gonna see if these brackets fit. If they fit, we're just gonna transfer them right on over, because it looks like yeah, yep. So these will go into here, secure the head unit from moving around, and then it connects onto this black piece right here, which is, there's screws for it. No, there's not. There is not a screw for it. So this head unit is just going to be secured by screws down here, but no screws over here. So maybe this head unit is so light that it's just not gonna be held in by anything. Actually, maybe that's what these are for. Let me open these up right here. Alright, so I've been looking around this, and it doesn't seem like these brackets even like line up at all. And I can't figure out how to mount these on here. But considering how snug this head unit is in here, I think it's gonna be perfectly fine if there's no brackets holding it onto this middle piece, because this is so light. And look at the size difference of this really cheap aftermarket head unit compared to the OEM one. This one's so much bigger, and it could just be so much bigger because this one actually has a CD player inside. So that could be one of the main reasons why it looks bigger and it weighs more. But as far as transferring this bracket over or using the included brackets in this kit, I think we'll be fine not even using anything to secure this. This is so firm, it's not even gonna pop out. And just driving around, there ain't no way it's gonna come on out. But for now, we'll go ahead and swap this over here, because regardless, this entire piece is gonna come back out and get replaced because it is cracked up here in the corners right here. So I'm gonna have to redo this again, but it'll be perfectly fine because we can fine tune everything once this new trim piece comes in. Let's go ahead and set this over here. And just go ahead and then retighten this middle piece onto this outer trim piece right here. So it should be these 6 screws again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this is pretty much ready to go back inside of the vehicle. Alright, once again, these are T15s. And let's go ahead and start with the easiest ones first. Just like this. Alright, once these 6 screws are reinstalled again, we can go ahead and flip this over and just see what it looks like. You want to be careful because the outer edge is barely held on by anything. Alright, so that is what it looks like. And it doesn't look too bad at all. And we're just going to go with this for now to get it up and running. And once this new outer trim piece comes in, we'll take it apart and redo everything properly. But for now, this is gonna work for now, considering this is a work truck. But if you've been following along lately, just be careful so you don't end up cracking this outer trim piece like this. Let's go ahead and get the rear camera installed, and then we'll run all the wiring up into the head unit up here and then get everything installed. So let's go ahead and get this up and open. See what all comes inside of this kit right here. Alright, so this is the wiring, and it looks like, alright, so we got the camera. Let's go ahead and just hook this up real quick, run all the wiring. Okay, so red is for your power, and then the yellow is going to go up to the head unit. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this hooked up. Alright, let's go ahead and get these 2 bolts removed. And this is just to go ahead and install this bracket for this backup camera. Let's see, I think we're gonna do just like this. Let's do just like this. Alright, we can go like that. Alright, let's get the left side started first. And then we'll do the other side. Alright, tighten it back down. Should be good enough. Got the camera right here, right in the middle. And it's time to just go ahead and start running the wiring back up to the front. Alright guys, let's hop underneath this truck real quick and see what is going on with the wiring. So as far as the wiring, I've been looking at this instruction manual right here and it's super confusing, but I think I'm just gonna wire it the same way I wired my Celica. So this wire right here, even though it has this red wire coming from it, this is just a video wire. This single wire right here is gonna run all the way up there to the head unit and get connected to the head unit. So the red wire coming from it, I'm gonna totally disregard it. It's not a power wire. The power wire for the camera is this single wire right here. And we've connected the other black wire that comes with the kit. And in this kit, it has a power and a ground. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hook this up to the reverse light. And I've did the exact same thing on the Celica. And then this is gonna get power from the reverse light as soon as we go into reverse. So it's gonna send power to the backup camera, and then the video is gonna travel through this video wire and go up to the head unit up there and provide us video input for our head unit up here. But at the same time, these rear inputs right here, this is where that other wire is gonna connect. Rear camera input. So we're gonna put that video wire right into here. And then once we get this wiring harness installed, what we need to do next is also connect the reverse light. So this purple wire, we're gonna have to run this purple wire from up there underneath this vehicle, and we are gonna connect it to this right here as well. So we're gonna connect it to the reverse light in here as well. That way the head unit is getting a signal that you are in reverse, which is gonna automatically switch this head unit right here, the display, to your backup camera when you have selected reverse. And these other wires right here, they're also connected to this backup light. So it's kind of confusing, but once you go to backup, the backup light's gonna come on, send power to your camera, and also the purple wire right here is also gonna receive that signal from your reverse light, thus putting your screen into the reverse mode. So the instructions were a little confusing, but I think that is what I'm gonna do on this head unit. And basically it's the exact same way that I wired up my Celica GT4 as well. So I think that's gonna make things a whole lot easier than doing it the way these instructions are telling us to do it. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. What I'm gonna do first is just run all the wiring for the video up and along this chassis right here. Alright, now I just got done wiring all of the wiring back here all the way up there into the cabin. I did it off camera because it was just taking way too long, but let me show you guys what I did. All I did was just run the wiring from the camera back into here, and then come up to here. So that is the wiring from the camera. The video wire, that one basically just runs underneath the chassis all the way to the front. This red wire, I tapped power from the reverse light, and I've already had an existing wire from a previous backup camera, so I just used the existing wire from here and connected it to the power supply from the camera. Then I also ran a separate wire, this wire right here. It goes all the way up to the head unit, this is going to be the trigger wire for the reverse light, the purple wire. And I'll show you guys that in a minute. But let me show you guys how to wire this up to your reverse light. All you're going to do is come here, lower the tailgate, unscrew these two 10mm bolts, one right here and then one down here. And this housing is just going to pop on out. You're just going to pop it out, come down to the reverse light, and you just hook the negative to the negative and positive to the positive. And that is how you're going to hook up the power from the reverse light to this camera. And then that other wire that I said was hooked up to that reverse light is going to hook up to this reverse light, the purple wire, once we get that installed. Now I've got those two wires running up underneath the chassis right here, and I couldn't find a place to bring it inside the cabin, so I had to go through the engine bay and then bring it back up through here, and then it comes up right here and down in between here. And then I brought it around here, and this was the only place that I can find is right here, where all of these electrical wires are coming to the power door locks and the windows right here. This grommet right here, all I did is just popped it open, brought these two wires through here, and then went underneath here, and then brought them back out through here. And now we've got the video wire, and then this red wire is basically the trigger wire that's going to connect to the purple wire from the head unit. So once you go into reverse, it's going to let the head unit know that you're in reverse, and that's when it's going to swap the screen to the reverse camera when you're into reverse. So that's why we brought this wire all the way up here as well. And then obviously this is your camera. Alright, so we are pretty much done with the wiring. We're ready to go ahead and finish up the rest of this wiring over here. And let me set this camera down and show you guys what we're gonna do here next. Alright, now here's the old, here's the new. Now this is our new wiring harness that was prefabricated and pre-made for us. It's pretty much plug and play. Now we're gonna use this black one right here on this wiring harness and just plug it up to here, just like this. And then this other wire right here, this is gonna plug right into here. If you notice on the factory OEM one, it doesn't have this wire right here. So that's why this prefabricated wiring harness makes the work so much easier. Everything is plug and play. Now this is just gonna plug into here right here. And then these leftover harnesses right here, this is gonna connect to the factory wiring harness inside the vehicle. So all we gotta do is just go plug this back up inside the vehicle. And then these three connectors right here for the HVAC, we're just gonna reconnect it, and then it should be as simple as bolting everything back on. Alright guys, so we've got this head unit back up here now, and I don't think I'm gonna have the camera angles, but here's what I'm gonna do. This wire that's coming back from the backup camera, the yellow one, on this head unit, this wiring harness, there is two of them. One of them is gonna say front camera input, and then the other one is gonna say rear camera input. So the rear camera input, that is where we're going to plug in this video cable that is coming back from the backup camera. So we're just gonna plug it up just like this. And then once we go back to putting everything back in, we're just gonna shove all this wiring and tuck it back behind here. Now this red wire that is coming back from the reverse tail light, this one, we are gonna connect it to this purple wire right here. Now this purple wire is the trigger wire for the reverse light. And what that's gonna do is, again, when you go into reverse, it's gonna trigger the head unit to show the video that is being transmitted from the backup camera to the head unit. And all we're gonna do is, we're just gonna connect these two wires together. Okay. We're just gonna wrap this around just like this. Okay. And then there are several different methods of insulating these exposed wires, but the simplest and easiest way is just use black electrical tape and then just wrap it around here. Now they do have like some kind of rubberized liquid glue that you can use as well. They do have other crimp seals that you can use as well too, but this is by far the easiest, and for the average person, this is probably what they're going to be using as well too. But I've never had any issues just using black electrical tape in the past, and it was perfectly 100% safe. And all this is going to be tucked back behind here anyway, so we're not going to even see these wiring, so I'm not too worried about it being all nice and pretty. Now as far as hooking up all of these wires that's coming from the back, we're all done now. We're ready to put this back in this console. And then these two, we're just going to hook up to the factory wiring harnesses. And then this grounding wire, I think this grounding wire, I'm going to ground it right up behind here. So let me see if I can do all of this on camera. And then for the HVAC, all you gotta do is just plug it back in here, and then it should be good to go. So let me see if I can do this for you guys. Alright guys, so a lot of this was off camera. The ground, I couldn't fit it back here, so I grounded it to right here. And then all of these wirings, this is the OEM wiring harness from the vehicle. This wiring harness, all I did is just clip it in here. Same thing with this one, you just clip it in here. And then all of these right here for the HVAC and these other lights, all I did was just reconnect it, and then everything is good to go. And all we're gonna do right now is just slowly, gently set it up on here, and then we are gonna turn it on and see if this actually works. Now, let's just do this for now and just kind of rest it up here. Just like this for now. I'm gonna peel off this sticker right here and turn the key on and see what happens. So let's just put this in here and hopefully this starts right up. Okay. All right. So we do have power. That is a good sign. Okay, so let's hit agree. No device found. Alright, now I'm gonna go grab my other phone, pair it with this real quick. Alright, so I went back and grabbed my other phone, and right now it is telling us to try to connect to this head unit. Alright, so come down to my phone and my settings down here. So other devices, Boss Audio BE7. So we're gonna try this one right here. Okay, so now it's asking us to pair 326633. Okay, so let's hit yes. Yes, and then down here we're gonna hit pair. Okay, and then we're gonna hit allow. Alright, so now I think we are connected. And we'll come back down to the phone right here. So it does say that we are connected right here. Okay, awesome. So we're connected to this head unit. I haven't messed with this yet, so let's try to go device. Okay, no. Okay. Let's just try to play some music. Let's get some music going on. I want to see how this music sounds like, so let me play some music from my phone. Okay, hit play on my phone and see what happens. No? Okay. Audio. Okay, loudness display. Front camera settings general. Bluetooth. Huh. Okay. Bluetooth. Alright, there we go. Make sure your volume tuned to max. Okay. Turn the volume on my phone up. Oops. Alright. Finally, we got some music in this 2010 Nissan Frontier. Let's see how this old speakers sound like.
I don't feel unless the odds against me. Back against the wall with my strength deep. Yeah. I can't let it break. Everything I've been through, it made me better. Ooh, I love it, hate, it just made me better. Yeah. Been through everything, it just made me better. Yeah. I can't waste the pain, it just made me better. Yeah. Working every day, it just made me better. 1, 2, check, 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 a 1, 2, I'm going in, is that an L? W is still a win. Got it off the muscle. All I know is hustle. All I know is making something out of nothing. What you think this is?
Alright, that is awesome. Now we have music in this Frontier. Now if you notice, I've put the fader and balance to the rear. All the music's coming from the rear speakers now. Nothing coming from the front. Let's center this again. Wonder if we could use the touch function. Oh, that's so cool. So we could use our fingers. Pretty cool. Let's check out the EQ. Alright. Now, I think I'm starting to like this head unit. We've got more control here. Look at all these frequencies that we can control. Alright, so let's go down to 32 Hertz. Turn up the bass. Let's see if we can even notice any difference at all. Alright, not bad at all. Oh, we can go to jazz. Okay, hip hop. That's pretty cool. It's got some presets. Pretty cool. Let's go back over here. What else we got here? So we could change the language up here. Time zones. Let's see what else we got here. Loudness. Let's try the loudness. Alright, can you guys tell the difference? Display. Alright, so we can control the display. Okay. Parking assist guide, we're gonna turn that on. Okay, rear. Alright. Okay. Alright guys. Now, what do y'all think about the 2010 Nissan Frontier? Yes, we've got music again. We've got music. And not only that, I'm gonna come back and try out this backup camera. I'm really curious if this backup camera actually works. But let me show you guys again this factory head unit. Yeah, it did have a CD player, but no Bluetooth capability and no EQs on here. You had just a regular 3 EQs, bass, treble, and I think high. So it's just a 3-way EQ, but not much flexibility or control. Now, with this new head unit, I have Bluetooth capability, and yeah, take a look at it. I think it actually looks pretty good in here. I think it matches. And got my other phone right down here, Bluetooth, and that's pretty good. Take a These factory speakers are not bad at all. Not bad. Let's check out the rear ones. These are 6.5 back here. Alright, and then it does have some tweeters up here as well. Now, with the Frontier getting some more love, I did do a 8-speaker review series, and for the Celica GT4, I did install the JL audios in here. Now, I do have all these extra speakers over here, and for this Frontier, I think we're gonna start swapping all these speakers back into the Frontier to see which one sounds the best on this Frontier, and then install them onto the Frontier to get rid of these OEM speakers. But honestly, they don't sound too bad. Alright, let's go try out this backup camera. Let's see if this backup camera even works. I am totally digging this truck. I think I'm in love again with this truck. I've got music. Alright, now let's go ahead and put this vehicle in reverse and see if this changes over. Oh, not bad at all. So we are in reverse. Now this vehicle is not running, but it is on. And with it on, that is pretty cool. It has these guides back here, and I can see directly what's behind me. And yeah, that is exactly what is behind me. Now let's pull up this parking brake and go take a look. See if these reverse lights are on. They should be on. And yep. So they are on, and that's what it looks like. It does have a little light on here to help illuminate during the hours of darkness. And I don't know if y'all can see me up there or not, but that's what it looks like. And let me set this down here just like this, and I'm gonna go back there real quick and just kind of see how it looks like on camera, because I'm kind of curious on how it actually looks like on camera. So let's go back there and see how it looks like. Okay, let me hop on back here. So all right, and let me get just a little bit lower, so hopefully you guys can see me up there. I am wearing this wireless mic, so that's another good thing about having a wireless microphone. You can set your camera up somewhere else and still get some audio. Now let me come back up here and show you guys one more time. This is so cool. This old truck now has the capability to keep up with these newer vehicles. And you know what? Considering that this truck is okay, turn this down just a little bit. Now, considering that this truck is a little bit older, this truck is 15 years old, and yeah, just having Bluetooth capability, an upgraded head unit, and this backup camera definitely makes this vehicle more enjoyable to drive. And I've been driving this vehicle for the longest time without Bluetooth. I've tried those FM transmitters and they didn't want to work, but this, I'm really excited. I'm really stoked about this. I'm loving this. And we are going to do some more audio testing on this 2010 Nissan Frontier and start swapping out the speakers. And let's take a look again. I think that looks pretty clean. That looks pretty clean. Now, I will warn you guys one last time. Up here, all of this got broken because it's so brittle up here. Be careful if you guys are doing this job. This is super brittle and more than likely it will break. But it's alright. I went ahead and ordered a brand new trim piece, this outer trim piece, from the internet, and it ran me about 150 bucks. But once I get that in, all I'm gonna do is just pull it out, unplug everything, and then swap this over to the new one, and then just plug it back in. And then this vehicle should be good to go, almost brand new and enjoyable to drive again. Now, hopefully, if you guys been following this tutorial, it is pretty straightforward, and hopefully I went step by step enough to where I helped you guys out as far as installing this aftermarket head unit. Now, if you got any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments below. And remember, join us next time on Garage Matters and hit that like and subscribe button.